This is Tyne Cot Commonwealth Military Cemetery. It is, I believe, the largest Commonwealth Military Cemetery, and it's also the largest cemetery for Australian dead anywhere in the world. It's approximately 10 kilometers from Ieper, and it forms part of the battlefield of the Third Battle of Ieper, which was a Commonwealth advance which started at the end of July 1917 and culminated on the 10th of November 1917 with the capture of Passchendaele, which is a couple of kilometers from here. This was part of the German Flanders I defence line. There were 3 such lines. The point of the attack of the summer of 1917 was to show support for all of the Allies. It was agreed that the French, Russians and Italians would all advance, and the result was, though, that most of this burden fell on the British, although the Russian advance, Kerensky offensive, was started with some success and came to naught despite the revolution. It was indeed it was because of that the Bolshevik Revolution took place to a large degree. The Italians in October 1917 suffered a very heavy defeat at Caporetto, and to a large extent that was the reason why this offensive here had to stop. It was to send British and French support to the Italians, and the French had their own problems with revolts within their army. The soldiers saying they wouldn't go and get themselves killed unnecessarily. They defended trenches, but they wouldn't advance. Now, the Third Battle of Ieper cost approximately, and it's very difficult with casualties to say, but for an advance of 8 kilometres, cost 245,000 British lives. I don't know how many wounded. I'm unable to say how many ended up suffering from all sorts of other problems. When I say British, I mean Commonwealth, sorry. So it was the British initially advanced. It was then handed over to the Anzac troops, and finally it was the Canadians who took the Passchendaele. Indeed, the worst loss of New Zealand lives in one day happened here in October 1917 with a failed attack. Indeed, New Zealand, with a population of 1 million, lost around 12,000 lives plus 50,000 wounded. So nearly 7% of its entire population became a victim of a war on the other side of the planet, which one may argue had little or nothing to do with New Zealand. So here we have the Tyne Cot. Tyne as in the river Newcastle that I come from. Cot means cottage. It was the name given to a bunker, German bunker, which was then captured, and then I think it became a dressing station. It was part of the position. I've noticed in my travels around here there's a lot of corn, neat corn from the field. It's very, very nice. Here we have something I've noticed on the graveyards as well. Le terrain de ce cimetière a été gracieusement offert par le peuple belge pour servir à perpétuité à champ de repos aux héros des armées alliées tombés au cours de la Grande Guerre de 1914 à 1918 et dont la mémoire est ici honorée. There are nearly 12,000 graves here. There's also the names are commemorated for those whose bodies could not be found, which gives a total of more than 46,000 people who are commemorated here, who died in these battles around the Ieper salient. So this was the Tyne Cot blockhouse, captured on the 4th of October 1917. This was the location of it. Let's just have a look at the first row here. People. There you go. 12th of October 1917. 9th of October 1917. 12th of October 17. 12th of October 17. October 17, 13th of October 17. People here from Australia. It is of course possible that some people may be commemorated twice, once by the grave and the second time by having the names on the list of those who disappeared but for whose body couldn't be found. So many of them, not to see, I presume there's quite a lot of that in fact. Now, in my tours around military cemeteries, I'm usually the only one there, but as can be seen here, I certainly am not, although it is the anniversary. Today's the 27th of August 2014, and British troops first came into contact with the Germans on the 23rd of August 1914, so we're looking at the 100th anniversary. Names of people from New Zealand. Killed in October 1917. Found one of my own relatives, was killed on the 26th of September 1917. I didn't know the date, but the age agrees, the town agrees, and the name, which is a bit more unusual, shall we say, also agrees. I didn't know the street, so I was to check this when I get a chance. strange really, knowing something I didn't know before like that. I think that the stone thing there may have been part of the German defence lines, although I could be wrong about that. When you see these huge fields of death like this, and this is only a small part of the casualties from this battle, I think one can understand why the British government and the French government opted for a policy of appeasement in the 1930s, because all of those in decision-making capacity would have been those who actually witnessed this and maybe even took part in it themselves.